which is Bogolanen. This is a request for variation to increase the total size of a new single-family home from the permitted 2,547 square feet to approximately 2,741 square feet. That's a 7.6% variation. The lot is in Milton Township. It's approximately 0.17 acres. The matter was published in the Daily Herald. Case has been circulated, as is our custom, to the various departments of the county and to neighboring taxing bodies, municipalities, etc. I have no comments from any of them. I do have a email from a neighbor, which I presume is intended to be an objection, but the reason for the objection is not stated in the word. My recollection is the word object is typed as reject. But I'll take that as a general objection. I have two exhibits. One is a survey, two is a site plan. And I have some other possible exhibits. May I begin by asking you to raise your hand and be sworn in, sir?
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony and evidence you're about to give at this time shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
And state your name and address.
My name is Philip Baglanen. The address is 1N157 Moore Street, Carroll Stream, Illinois, 60188.
Okay, so I have a 2006 survey. It's a little old for us. What is on the property since 2006?
So the property is still there. Right now, the garage side is demoed, so that doesn't exist anymore. And so we're requesting a driveway and new garage.
All right, let's talk about exhibit 2, which is the site plan. Who prepared this site plan?
An architect, Adam Hellman, and the civil engineer would be the Boney. I forget the name.
Oh, and it was issued February of 2024. Have you lived at the property since 2006, sir?
Yes,
Who lives there with you?
currently the mother-in-law, father-in-law, my wife, and the kids,
How many kids?
3 kids.
And I'm not gonna ask you about vehicles on the property. What are you're expanding your house?
No, we're just, it's a double lot, so we tore down the garage to build a new single family home.
Okay, so this is gonna be, the old house is gonna be removed?
No, it will remain.
I don't understand. You're gonna build a new home on a side lot?
Yes.
Okay. Then what are these exhibits that I have?
Sure.
Well, I don't know. I got a lot of stuff here that I'm not sure if I need. I need a site plan. But why have you presented this and what use do you want to make of it at the hearing? This looks like the same thing.
Building plan,
Oh,
this is proposed grading.
I mean, these items don't entirely relate to the request, but I'm gonna take them as group exhibit 3. Comprised of 3 pages. And then I have a to whom it may concern letter from the petitioner, which I'll take as exhibit 4. And then I have a series of photographs, which I'll take as group exhibit 5. Is this photograph intended to be a part of?
The presentation. Yeah,
Is it intended to be a part of this narrative?
yes.
Okay, so that will be group exhibit 4 comprised of 2 pages, 1 small photograph being the second page.
Same for those.
And then I have group exhibit 3, which is some renderings, computer drawings, which are entirely meaningless to me. I don't know, but you can refer to them as you like. So tell me what's going on. I know what your request is. Are you gonna continue to live in the existing home?
Well, during the build, yes.
And what happens after that?
Then the sister-in-law will take over.
Okay, and you'll move into the new house?
Correct, with the in-laws.
Okay, so this is relatively close to what is permitted. Why do you need this little 7 or 8% variation?
It's because, should I go through my,
Go through whatever you want.
okay, alright, so I want to first, thank you for the opportunity to present our request for a small variance to build a single family home on the vacant lot. Now, I wanted to first state that, we've been long-term residents in this community, and we're proud to call DuPage County our home. Now, this is where our children grew up, and we choose to build a home here, and that, so that they continue growing up and finish their school in this community. And what I wanted to go through was the 4 points in favor of our petition for approval. So I'm gonna mention the 4 points, and then I'm gonna discuss it in detail. So first is the variance request is less than 20%. Second is variance complies with the existing zoning ordinance. Third is variance improves the aesthetic of the neighborhood. Fourth, the variance is to accommodate elderly care. So first variance is less than 10%. It would typically fall under the purview of an administrative review, since we have a single objection, but public hearing is required. So I wanted to assure that the public, is, understands that this is a modest request, and that our intention is not to dramatically alter the intent and desire of the community to maintain the standard of the for the area. Second is per variation section 37-1411.3 subsection C, our variance request does not impair an adequate supply of light and air to the adjacent property. It does not increase the hazard for fire or other damage or other dangers to said property. It does not diminish the value of the land and the building throughout the county. It does not unduly increase traffic congestions in the public street and highways, and it does not increase the potential flood damages to the adjacent property. And it does not incur the additional public expense for flood protection, rescue, or relief, or otherwise impair the public health, safety, comfort, morale, or general welfare of the inhabitants of the DuPage County. We take this ordinance very seriously. We hire architects, civil engineers, structural engineers to make sure that we are in compliance with the zoning requirements. Our setback is in compliance. What we follow is stringent when it comes to the build. Typically, it's 2x6 on the exterior wall. We're going 2x8, and then putting in the cavity mineral wall, so that reduces noise and also prevents and minimizes fire hazard. That's part of the material that we use. Drainage wise, we have drainage on both sides of the property, which connects to the storm water, so prevents the flooding that we potentially have. And a downspout is connected to that as well. It is a single ranch house, so there's not going to be any issues when it comes to blocking lights. And when it comes to lights itself, our lights are connected on the eaves, which only serves as security for any open windows, doors, and it's a 2-car garage, so I don't see any issues with the traffic. Third is per variation section 37-1411.3 subsection B. Our variance request is in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the zoning ordinance. And it will not be injurious to the neighborhood, detrimental to public welfare, or in conflict with the county's comprehensive plan development. The fact that this development or this build improves the aesthetic of the neighborhood. And previous to this, there was an old garage, which I have difficulty looking for the image, which is one of the exhibit, because it's really hideous. It does not bring value to the neighborhood. Now that we've demoed it, we're prepared to be utilized as an exhibit in there. And we're prepared to build an attractive structure that keeps the standard of the neighborhood. That's another development for the area. So the new construction will demonstrate that this community is worth investing in, being a part of, as Mike now already knows. Lastly, I wanted to share with you why we requested this variance to begin with. The wife's parents have lived in the adjacent home, which next to the lot, for a long period of time. As they get older, it'll become more difficult for them to be alone. So we're building this home and understanding that we're going to have elderly care provide for them as their needs evolve through time, over time. My wife is a nurse, and my family will care for them as they grow older. This is the reason for a request for the variance. Thank you.
Okay. I don't even know how to respond to that. I know what you want. And a recitation of the conditions and so, and the statement that we comply, really isn't meaningful. I need to understand why you need this variance, and then, I mean, why do you have to build it 7% larger than is permitted? And I need to understand what the hardship, unique circumstance, or practical difficulty is. And a hardship is not something personal, it's something related to the land. So can you address those 2 points?
The land, first and foremost, it's small. And based on experience and growing up with families and with kids, we need a little bit more room for as they grow older. And initially, we didn't consider the in-laws to move in, but their condition is diminishing, and so we need to make an extra room for them. And that space that we created was intentionally originally a front porch, but we decided to enclose it to make room for them because it just makes sense without compromising what we were already designed for the kids, which was in compliance originally. So and that's pretty much it. I wish the lot was a little bit bigger.
If it was, we wouldn't be here.
And then we tried to get the empty lot for how many years, but you know, I think she finally decided that we want to sell it, like we spent a lot of time.
All right, do you have anything else?
No, I don't.
I'll take this under advisement, and you'll get a decision from me at this level within the next couple of weeks by email. And then matter goes to the County Development Committee. And then finally, the full county board for the final administrative determination about the case. If you have nothing else, I'll indicate that no one is here to offer public comment and no one is on Zoom. So we'll close the hearing. Thank you very much. And this is a request for variation to reduce the west interior side setback from the required 20 feet to approximately 13 feet for a house addition. Secondly, a variation reduce the east interior side setback from required 20 feet to approximately 10 feet for a house addition. It's a Winfield Township case on a lot that is approximately 0.55 acres, serviced by well and septic. Matter was published in the Daily Herald on July 9, 2024, and circulated to the various departments of the county and neighboring authorities, and I have no comments whatsoever from anybody, any of those entities. I have survey, which is petitioner's exhibit number 1. And that survey is maybe, I don't see a date exactly. Oh, no, I do see a date. It's September of 2018. And then I have a site plan, which is exhibit 2. And then some more elevations, floor plans, various additional drawings, which I don't think are material to this case, but I'll take them as petitioner's group exhibit 3, comprised of 3 pages. My name is Bob Cartho. I'm the zoning hearing officer.
Nice to
And
meet you,
I
Bob.
ask you to be sworn in, sir.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony and evidence you're about to give at this time shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
So help me God, yes.
Okay, do you have other exhibits, or have I indicated all the exhibits?
Well, to me, it sounds like you have sufficient for this particular zoning meeting. So because I can't see what you have on the desk as far as your exhibits, what I was sent looks to be adequate. You have some elevations, so that would have been about the only other thing that I would have
Didn't we get them from you?
added.
You submitted these, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Right, but that you have on your desk. I submitted them back. Yeah.
okay, well, fine. So tell me what's going on and
Well, so the way that you see the proposed existing plan and the proposed site plan, the proposed site plan would infringe on the 20-foot setbacks from the east and west property lines. And so that's what this variance is about. And trying to get, I was told that, we're zoned R1 and trying to get the R2 zoning so that we can go ahead forward with this build.
okay, well, can you sort of, did you get the materials about how to present the case? All you've stated so far is what you're asking for, but tell me how to make your case.
Tell
What's
you
your rationale?
how to make my case. How to make my case would be that we have adequate setback from the east and west neighbor's property line. The construction fits the current construction with enough side yard, enough distance, homes to homes on the lots in that subdivision. Aesthetically pleasing construction.
Okay. How long have you lived in the home
Going on 7 years.
and you did not build a house?
No, this
The
house
house
was
is situated on an angle on the lot. It's not, perpendicular and parallel to the lot lines.
correct.
And in order to build an extension and conform to the architectural layout of the lot, you would need a minimal incursion into the side yard. Is that right?
Yes,
And that minimal incursion is only at one corner of the lot. Is that right?
no, it's available on
I
both
mean, sorry,
sides.
one corner of the house.
No, it's on east and west sides.
Yeah, okay, but only at the corners of the building. Because
So
of the
if you,
angle.
Okay, so if you look at the north and east section, you will see that the proposed garage addition doesn't I think maybe about a foot additional towards the east, but we have a complete open pathway on the east side of the home. That would be behind the garage, basically. And then on the south and west corner, coming around a proposed screen porch deck enclosure, there's more than enough access around the property. If,
So your hardship, unique circumstance, or practical difficulty is the fact that the home was originally built on an angle. So that any extension would implicate the side yard setbacks at these 2 points that you described. Is that right?
correct, that explains it very well.
Okay, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, there's no comments, no one from the public to testify in the case, so
Yeah,
I'll close the hearing and you'll get a decision from that eye level within the next couple of weeks, and then the matter will be advanced to the county development committee, and then finally the full county board. That's probably not going to occur until mid to late August. I don't know exactly the schedule, but
there's no urgency.
Pardon me?
There's no urgency here. Just so you know, we're pretty friendly with all the neighbors who said that they all received letters. They came over, they talked about the plan. So, you know, besides joking, that was about it. They wanted to know more about the plan, walked them around the property to
Well,
show
we don't
them.
have any comments in support of or in opposition to.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm gonna just ignore, as long as I
Okay.
don't have any
Well, that's
objection.
what I have to bring, and that's official because I witnessed it, so that's it.
Well, it's here, except it's hearsay. Okay, well, don't worry about that. I'm just gonna ignore it because I'm not permitted to consider it
Okay,
outside the scope of the hearing. But, and I'm not really supposed to tell you what the result is at this point, but I get what you're asking for, and I'm sympathetic to the request, okay?
thank you so much, Bob.
So I think you'll get a favorable determination as it goes up the chain.
Okay,
Okay?
so
Good
if there
luck
was a
with
better way to request this, the only guidance that I received was that R2 is pretty standard in the area, and that I should request that R2 zoning. So that actually came from you know, people within that facility at DuPage County.
Okay,
So
well, let me tell, I mean, you didn't exactly make a technical presentation, but let me give you one more tidbit of advice at hearings. When the guy says you're gonna win, you gotta stop talking. No sense adding stuff that might change the record. Okay? Thanks very much. Good luck. 42, ZBAC petition. This is a request for conditional use to increase the total size of detached accessory buildings from permitted 2393 square feet to approximately 2821 square feet. That's 2450 for a proposed barn and 371 for 2 existing sheds. Secondly, a variation to allow the total size of detached accessory buildings to be larger than the existing principal residence. 3, a variation to reduce the interior side setback for a proposed barn from the permitted 10 feet to approximately 5 feet. This matter is a Milton Township case. It is R4 underlying single-family residence zoning. Property is about 2.28 acres, serviced by well and septic, and the matter was published in the Daily Herald on July 9, 2024. Been circulated to various departments of the county and neighboring municipalities. I have no comments or objections from anyone other than the village of Lombard that has given us a letter stating some general comments, but it is not a formal objection, so that it would not trigger the need for a supermajority. I also have a couple of emails that are one-liners, presumably from neighbors, indicating no objections. I have a survey, which is exhibit number 1. I have a site plan, which is exhibit number 2, and then group exhibit 3 is a series of various architectural drawings, which I have not yet reviewed and may or may not be referred to during the course of the hearing. What's this? Oh, and then presumably the petitioner has handed me some to whom it may concern letters that I'll take as exhibit number 4, group exhibit number 4. My name is Bob Carthel. I'm the zoning hearing officer. And may I ask the two of you to raise your hand and be sworn in?
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony and evidence you're about to give at this time shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
State your name and address, please.
651 West Sunset Avenue.
Speak up a bit. We're being recorded.
651 Sunset Avenue, Lombard.
Tell me your name and spell your name.
Radim Zvek, Radim, and last name Zvak.
And you, miss?
Lenka Zvek, Lenka, Zvak.
Okay, have you lived at this property for some time? You live there?
No,
No,
You don't live there?
no,
What's are you the owners of the property?
we are the owners, yes.
Who lives there?
For tenants,
So this is a rental property?
yes.
How long have you owned the property?
3 years.
yeah, eventually moving there though.
Okay. What do you propose to do and why do you need a variation?
We've been told we can go on 1,555 square feet, non-detached building. And
Speak up a little bit.
we like to apply for the bigger square footage if we could.
Yeah, I know, that's what the request is, but
Yes, and
I said why?
because we have lots of our own stuff that we want to carry, and we don't want to carry it around the buildings. Around the house.
Like we have lots of vehicles, like a modern home, big lawnmower, cars, trailers. We don't want it to have scattered all around the property, which would not look really nice.
Inside.
What's in the shed? There's 2 sheds on the property?
Yes,
What's in the sheds?
just the storage, some stuff, windows and lawnmower and stuff like that, but we don't want these sheds there after we build the barn.
You're gonna remove the sheds?
Yes. That's the plan, because one of them falling apart already. We don't know if they've been built under the permits or not.
Yeah, that was built by the previous owner, and will we have any intention keeping those 2 extra detached buildings?
So your variance would be, well, it's styled as a conditional use, which I have no idea why this is brought as a conditional use rather than 3 variation requests.
Also, just.
Why did you bring this as a conditional use for the detached accessory building rather than a variation?
Don't understand what you mean.
That's why, okay. So I'm supposed to figure this out for you?
Permitted conditional use in the code to allow.
Yeah,
conditional
I
use to
understand that.
increase the total area.
So 24, so you're permitted 2,400 square feet, almost, a couple feet short of that. And you will ultimately be 2,450 when you remove the two sheds? Is that right?
Close, I think, yeah, I don't know exactly the square footage of those two sheds, I never measured it.
Okay. This is a pretty serious, I mean, this is a significant request. And you don't seem to have an understanding of what's going on. Have you had any advice from any zoning professionals or zoning lawyers or anybody? You just came here to see what happens?
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
they-
we didn't know that.
We
it's like-
didn't set up the meeting, we've been called here to.
Yeah, here's, okay. Second is a request for variation to allow the total size of the detached accessory building to be larger than the existing principal residence.
I believe the residence, what we have there now is 2,900 square feet. And we asking for 2,500 square feet part. But I don't know if they calculating, the foundation basin, or if they, is it include the overhang roofs? Because I don't get that answer, I don't know. What's exactly calculated on the square footage.
Next is a variation to reduce the interior side setback for proposed barn from 10 feet to approximately 5 feet.
We can do 12 feet 6 inches to.
So you
keep
wanna-
it over,
You want to withdraw that
yes.
variation number 3?
Thank you.
All right. This is a pretty simple case,
Mhm.
but you have to make the case. I'm not supposed to make the case. Have you removed these sheds yet?
No, we want to remove them after we get a permit for barn. After we build the barn, we can remove them and relocate the stuff from the sheds to the barn.
Can you run this calculation for the relationship between the existing structure, the existing principal structure and the proposed barn? Do we know the square footage of the existing residence?
2,900 square feet is shown.
Where is that shown?
Actually, that's what I find on the seal, so I don't know if this will be paid at tax for or. I have tax record here from last year, so if that's quickly calculated from
Well,
that.
let me see it and I'll decide whether it's an exhibit.
Houses on the biggest property.
And we also like to build a new, single family house there next year, which we don't even apply for the permits yet, so it's gonna be bigger than the. So I don't know if this matter.
I'm supposed to. I don't see the square footage. I see cash values and various bits of information, but I don't see square footage on your tax bill. And I don't recall reviewing tax bills in the past that showed the square footage of the home. The property record card from the assessor would show that.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Okay, I don't need these exhibits because they don't answer the question that I asked, so. Would you withdraw them? Here, I'm gonna continue this case. I need to know the square footage of the existing structure Then I need to know what the request would be with the removal of the 2 sheds. And then I can make a reasonable decision. And we're throwing request number 3, the variation request. So I'll give you a new date, but you're gonna, I mean, I've made your case so far to the extent that any case has been made, but I need these facts. So, figure out what your square footage is. And you can do that by engaging a surveyor to do some measurements. Or you can bring me a property record card from the assessor instead of a tax bill. So let's pick a date.
That would be the August 14th is our next CHO.
How many cases do we have?
2.
Okay, I'm gonna continue the case to August 14. It will be at 2:30, same system as this. Will be in this room. You can appear personally or by Zoom, okay? Great, thank you very much. I'll put all of this. Process works because you need to make the case. I can't, I'm not permitted to make the case for you. Okay? So get a little advice from somebody and then come back on August 14 and but I think now I've given you the roadmap of what needs to be done. So
Thank you.
yeah, okay. Thanks very much. I'll close the 52 Ruth Lake Woods Condominium Association case. This case is a variation request for variation to allow the finished side of the proposed privacy fence to face inward instead of outward. The matter is a Downers Grove Township case, and this relates to common areas of Ruth Lakes Condominium Association, I guess. The matter was published in the Daily Herald on July 9, 2024. I have no objections from or comments from the various municipalities to whom we've circulated the petition, but just no comments whatsoever. I have a survey from Ruth Lake of a number of lots, which I presume to be Ruth Lake's subdivision. And that survey is 1988?
But we had a subsequent survey done, which is here. Just back in by Jade Hanna Surveyors.
Oh, this is just a boundaries. Okay,
Right,
I'll take
right.
this,
Okay,
I'll take this as, that
that's,
survey is group exhibit number 1, which is the 88 survey showing the details of the site. And then a boundary, survey dated, July, November 2024. And then I
no,
have,
I'm sorry to interrupt. They did the survey in June, the 5th, I've got this, the 5th day of June, 2024.
yeah, isn't that what that's what I tried to say.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
And then I have a site plan, which is a markup of one of the items, the 1988 survey. Showing some yellow, presumably a yellow fence line on the part of the northern property line. So, my name is Bob Carthel. I'm the zoning hearing officer, and may I ask that you, to be sworn in and tell us, spell your name, tell us your address and what your relationship is to this petition.
My name,
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony and evidence you're about to give at this time shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
What's your-
My name is Fred Seeholzer, Seeholzer. I am the president of Ruth Lake Woods Condominium Association. My address is 770 Ruth Lake Court, Hinsdale, 60521.
I am Patsy Holzer. I'm first lady. I'm his wife.
Okay. And you live in this subdivision?
Yes, we do.
All right, so let me understand what your request is, first of all.
Okay,
And the best way to do that is refer to this site plan. Why is this section of the fence highlighted in yellow?
because that is a existing cedar wood 6-foot high privacy fence. Existing, and we have a building permit that's already been issued to replace the fence.
Is there a fence on the rest of the property, on the perimeter of the rest of the property?
There are some chain link fence that is owned by the country club. So
But not on your property.
not on our property.
So the only portion of fence that is implicated by this request is that which is highlighted in yellow on your site plan.
Right, and sits on our property,
Right.
right,
And then there's a indication here that says, I guess it says 6-foot wood privacy fence, 3 inches inside property lines. Am I reading that right?
Yes, from what we got from the Jade Hanna survey that was done in June of this year, yes, that's correct.
All right. I did not indicate that I have some emails. What do these tell me? Do you know?
There was one email from the general manager of the
Oh,
Ruth Lake Country Club stating that he had no issue with the variance. I also have asked him, and I brought with me a notarized affidavit that from the same gentleman that he did yesterday, stating the same thing. And they are the only neighbor that's impacted by this. We have a boundary line.
okay. So to the north of your property
Right,
is Ruth Lake Country Club?
that is correct.
Is this landscaped in any respect?
There are trees on both sides of the fence. Most of the major trees are on the country club side of the fence. But there is landscaping. I have some pictures here. It's on my phone if you,
Can't take them. unless-
okay. You know,
Is that, well, if it's an exhibit, if I'm gonna consider it has to be
okay.
an exhibit, and an
Okay.
exhibit has to be maintained in the file.
Oh, okay.
But you can, oh,
But
you know what, I have an aerial.
Oh,
I have an
okay,
aerial.
okay.
And I see that what you're telling me is verified by this aerial showing Ruth Lake or some golf course,
Right,
presumably Ruth Lake to the north of the property. There are a couple of utility buildings presumably
correct.
right at the corner of your property. And so while this, so you need to demonstrate a hardship, unique circumstance, or practical difficulty. There are 7 other requirements. I don't want you to go through those because the answer to those is apparent, but I need a statement of your hardship, unique circumstance, or practical difficulty in order to establish the threshold requirements for the granting of this requested variation. You understand what I'm talking about?
I'm not sure how you want me to phrase that, but we,
Well, it could be phrased in such a way as to say the unique circumstance is that the open expanse of the country club and the utility buildings of the country club to the north of your property do not suggest any need whatsoever for the good face of the fence to
face,
be facing the
Okay.
outside, because there's nobody to face.
right. So I would say that, yes, I mean, from the standpoint of the facing of the fence, and I don't know whether this has a bearing on it, the existing fence has the good side facing in. That fence has been there more than 20 years, longer than I've lived there and I've been on the board. So, in being good citizens, we applied for a permit, and we were told about the zoning or about the, but the country club has been a good neighbor. They are okay. We have residential properties that have patios and decks that are fairly adjacent to this privacy fence that, so that's why we have requested that we look at the finished side. And the country club is, we're screening a maintenance building, we're screening a parking lot, and we're screening paddle tennis courts. And the country club has no indication that they need to look at the finished side of the fence. And they,
Can you just refresh my memory? Didn't we have another zoning case?
We did for the pickleball courts at the corner right there.
Oh, the country club.
last-
the pickleball, I was
We
there
were
for
here.
that, and I supported their,
Yeah.
yeah, I was there for that. I supported their variance to move the pickleball courts
So this
closer to
is,
Madison Avenue.
this is the quid pro quo.
Well, it's not really. We just consider ourselves good neighbors.
Frankly, I wasn't particularly sympathetic to your request when I read it because I didn't understand the layout,
Okay.
but now I understand that you do indeed have a unique circumstance. And while it's not our practice to sort of tell you what the result of the hearing is during the course of the hearing, I get what you're asking for and it makes sense to me.
Okay,
Now, there's no one in the audience to make public comment about this case. If you have nothing further, I'll close the case. You'll get a decision from us in the next couple of weeks, and then it accelerates to the Development Committee, which is a subcommittee of the county board, and ultimately will be referred to the full county board based on the record that's made here today. Okay?
okay, practical matter is. When can we, I've got the fence company scheduled, which obviously, and, you know, to take down the existing fence and put up.
And you can't get a building permit until this is.
I have a
concluded?
building permit.
Okay, well, when's the next development committee?
August.
29.
I can get it on.
You can do it on the 6th,
Mhm.
then it'll go county board the 13th.
We'll accelerate it for you.
Thank you.
Okay,
That'd be great, thank you. And then you'll let us know okay, that's much appreciated.
thank you
Okay,
very much.
thank you, okay.
The only reason I'm being so nice, well, I will close the hearing. The hearing, this case, there are no minutes to be approved at this meeting. There is no old business to be considered at this meeting. There is no new business to be considered at this meeting. And there is no public comment unrelated to the various zoning cases that has been offered or presented by any members of the public at this meeting.
Unless either of these two people would like to make a public comment. They're not volunteering for the same, so we'll close the meeting.